Hi there, I'm Clarence Waldron. Welcome back to Black Muse. Tonight we have a very special show. As you can tell, we're at the Black Ensemble Theater with Ms. Jackie Taylor, CEO and founder of the Black Ensemble Theater. She's going to talk to us about her role in 1975's Cooley High and how that sort of led to this whole theater complex here in Uptown. Let's just get started. Jackie Taylor, how are you?
Clarence, I'm wonderful.
Good.
Yes.
So, in the beginning, with the role in Cooley High, did y'all think that would become a major hit, cult, classic, all that stuff?
You know, when you are doing something at the moment, I don't think you ever think, oh, I'm creating a classic. We were working, and we were happy to be getting our paychecks. I thought the story was absolutely wonderful because it was anti-violence and it showed African Americans in a positive light during the Black exploitation period, which was showing us horribly. So we were, you know, basically just working. And we are all amazed 40 years later that people still talk about Cooley High and recognize us from that film. So it was something else. Yeah.
So now, what inspired you to build this theater? Where did that come from?
That comes from the racism that I experienced all my life, actually. I grew up in Cabrini. And in Cabrini, living near North, you had certain parameters that you could go, and if you went beyond those parameters, you suffered the consequences, which we were kids, but hatred doesn't care how old you are or how young you are. Then when I made Cooley High, I was propelled into the national arena and talked to about different film projects, and I thought they were going to be like Cooley High. But Cooley High it slipped through. And the other films that they wanted me to do were Black exploitation that said women are objects, we're stupid, Black people glorify drugs, and the lies that they created in terms of our community, because they felt that that's all that our community wanted to see. Because I did not want to perpetuate those images. I'm a teacher. By that time, I had taught thousands of kids, and I had taught self-love, confidence in yourself, the greatness in you. And if they had saw Miss Taylor with a gun or being a prostitute or being the gang leader's woman or whatever the roles were, that would have destroyed what I had did. And so I decided, no, I don't want to do this. I broke my contract. I came back to Chicago and decided, hey, I have to do something. This racism and the effects of it are just so inhumane that I just can't go about my day and be all right. So I decided that I would start a theater with a mission to eradicate racism. And that was 1976.
So just a year after the film?
Right.
Wow.
I think we made the film in 74.
Okay.
Yeah, because my daughter was 6 weeks old when I made that film.
Right. Okay. What is it about this Uptown community that you like? Because you could have built anywhere in Chicago, but you chose the North Side.
Well, number one, I grew up on the North Side, so I knew the North Side.
Okay.
You know, I was criticized a lot because I was building a theater on the North Side, and why would I not be on the South Side? Simply because I didn't know the South Side. I grew up in the projects on the North, and there were some on the North Side. But to me, that shows the limitations and the effects of racism of how we live. I mean, why are we so satisfied with this segregation that I have to be somewhere that I'm not familiar with? So I looked for a theater on the north side because that's the side of town that I knew. Mm-hmm. And also, if you're going to build a theater that mission is to eradicate racism, you just can't talk to one race. You have to talk to a total community because we're all a part of this systemic thought pattern that is the foundation of racism. So I wanted to also be where everybody felt that they could come. And that's why I chose the area, well, actually the area chose me, because at that time, I think we were living in Old Town Garden, which at that time was a step up from the projects, but it was right down the street. And there was this theater, and it said for sale, and I started at 1429 North Wells Street.
Wow. So here you are today. Did you ever dream that you would have this $20 million complex?
I didn't think about it like that. You know, when I started the theater, the day-to-day operations was my basic concern. You know, how to make it work. Mm-hmm. I had graduated from Loyola University at that time, and Dennis Zajac, who was one of the founders of the original Victory Gardens, was my professor. And I had a very strong education in terms of business, not only theater, but the business of theater and how to make a living. And so I had a good business background. So my first thoughts were keeping my business alive. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then my second thoughts, after we had been alive for about 10 or 12 years, was, okay, I got to solidify this business because we need our own space. We can't be roamers because that's too fragile of an existence. So I started building my board and working toward staff that could support a building. And I never thought about, how much it's gonna cost, or you don't have to research. Those things never entered my mind. What entered my mind was, this is what I gotta do, and I'm gonna do it, mm-hmm. Period. I found like-minded people, and that's how we work toward the goal of building the Black Ensemble Theater. So it wasn't, it was a necessity for sustainability.
Okay. Tell us about this season. What do you have coming up here this season?
Well, we have first the wonderful story of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
All right, now.
And wow, these musicians and actors, the writer and director is Daryl Brooks, my producing managing director, and they're just fabulous. We're gonna tear the house down. Then we have the Housewives of Motown.
Now, what is that?
What is that about?
That's
you know, everybody talks about the superstars of Motown, but no one talks about what happened with the women who were the wives of these giants. What happened? And that's what this is about. What happened?
This sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds juicy. It sounds good. Wow. Okay.
Then we have a Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. You know she's so great you have to say it twice.
Okay.
Can't say it once. And the last play of the season is going to be The Other Cinderella.
My favorite. I remember that from years ago. So you bring that back from time to time.
That's our staple.
That's a staple.
That's
okay.
our staple. Just like the Goodman has Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol, Black Ensemble has Jackie Taylor's The Other Cinderella.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, any differences, any changes?
I always make changes.
Okay.
Every production is never the same.
Okay.
If you've seen it before, that's okay, because this is new. So it's going to be the same, but there's going to be new twists.
Okay. All right. Now you also did the Music Legends. You had a Jackie Wilson play and
Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass,
Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick. Gosh, why can't I think of this woman's name? Billie Holiday. At last, Etta James.
Etta James. Yeah. So now, what drew you to say Dionne, for example?
Dionne, for me, as a child, I was a teenager when her hits were out, but I had never heard a voice like that. It was just amazing. And I thought she was one of the greatest singers that I ever heard. So I started stalking her. I went to wherever she was playing, and I got messages to her that I really wanted to do her story, and would she allow Black Ensemble to have the rights to it, and so forth and so on. And finally she just said, "Who is this Jackie Taylor? Why is she following me all around the country?" And she invited me up to her. She had a show. She invited me to the show. Then she invited me up to her hotel room, and we became very good friends. In fact, she is the interior designer of the theater.
So she did the inside of it.
That's right.
Wow. See, people don't know that Dionne is another talent as well.
Yeah. Oh, she's a great designer.
Yeah.
She's a great designer.
Yeah. So therefore, I'm sure with your love for Dionne, you had to feel something when Burt Bacharach passed. I'm sure that sort of broke your heart.
That was sad.
Yeah. Because we all love his music.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
my God. But that's what we have, so that will continue.
Right. This is the Black Muse show. Who inspired you, Jackie, when you look back in your life?
No, I had many inspirations. One was Mr. John Houston, who's not with us anymore, but he was my drama teacher, my first drama teacher before I knew what drama was about. We were kids. We couldn't have been any more than 8 or 9, and we were throwing bricks through windows. That was our pastime, having fun. And we threw a brick through the field house where Mr. Houston worked, and he came out. And when he came out, we started running and expected that, okay, like the adults did, he would leave us alone. He didn't. He started running after us. And I was the slowest runner. And he caught me. And he said, "You threw that brick, right?" And I was tough and rough. "Yeah, so what?" He said, "Well, you have a choice." He said, "You could do like most of your friends. They in the Audi home, and then they go from there to the jail, penitentiary, and some of them even don't make it alive past 1920. He said, "Oh, you can do that. That's what you want to do." He said, "But if you want a better life, if you want to do something better than this," he said, "you need to come to drama class." I didn't know what drama class was. He said, "So you got a choice." He said, "I can take you in the park and we can call the police and you can go through what everybody else go through." He said, "I can take you upstairs and you go to drama class. I said, I want to go upstairs to drama class.
Okay. Yes,
And
indeed.
that was and he taught me so much about loving myself and having confidence in myself. And he recognized at that very early age that I was intelligent and that I had talent. And I had been told that I wasn't all my life, but then he told me that I was. And that was my first and the greatest inspiration that I could ever have had was Mr. John Huston. Now, as a professional, one of the greatest inspirations was when I worked with Mr. Sidney Poitier. I worked with Mr. Poitier 3 times. And spending time with him like I'm spending time with you right now, just talking about life, just talking about the universe, just talking. It was amazing. It was like he was this guru that you couldn't stop listening to. He was just, his whole outlook on life was refreshing and exciting and motivational and made you happy. It was so, even though he had been through so much, he was so positive. And the things that he said really shaped me as an actress. So those two men, I would say, in my life were the most inspirational. And Mr. Poitier gave the theater its first donation.
How about that shit?
Yeah, he gave us our first donation.
Major. Look at that. Yeah. Now, you know this is Women's History Month, March is. And you are a woman that we love and admire. Everyone absolutely loves you. When they say your name, like even as I was waiting to do this, they're at the box office. When the fire play, they want to be in your house. They want to come to the ensemble. So therefore, you're just a woman that we love, and we're happy that you're here. That I'm here with you. Sorry about that. But now, looking back at what's the significance of Women's History Month? What's the significance of Women's History Month?
Well, it's as significant as Black History Month. It's as significant as the Day of the Dead. It's as significant of any culture. We have to celebrate ourselves as human beings, period. And it's an opportunity to celebrate and recognize different genres. And of course, women in the United States, even though we want to feel as a country that we're ahead of other countries, we are not. We're still undercover in terms of equality. We're still not where we need to be as women. And when you throw a spotlight on a month or a celebration, it's an opportunity for engagement, to learn, to understand. So it's highly significant in terms of women in history in this country. But then when you expand it and say women, period, on this earth, we have a whole lot of work to do, because in other countries, women don't have the right to vote. They can be killed, just like in this country, how they just murdered African Americans, still do today, hung us at will. Women are treated that way also, in many societies. So in terms of when you think about us just as a group, just as humans, period, we have a lot of growth that we need to do in trying to live on this earth. All these wars, this hatred, we're destroying ourselves. The planet, we're destroying the gifts that we have because we don't understand how we are all connected. I don't care if you're in China. I don't care if you're around the world on the other side. What happens to one happens to all. We are all affected by it. And until we really understand our role in this great universe, because it's a universe, it's just, I know people tend to think because we don't know and we don't understand, we limit ourselves to this, what we can see, not there that we cannot see and we do not know. So I don't know how I got all on this, but I got on it to say that it's important that we acknowledge the greatness that we all have in common as human beings. So any time that we can get to celebrate, whatever it is, that is a good thing.
Yeah, okay. Tell us something about your family, your daughter and your grandson. Have they shown any interest in theater or film and all that? Okay.
No.
Oh.
My daughter, when she was very young, we struggled because I had Black Ensemble Theater. I did a lot of work. I did a lot of acting, a lot of films, a lot of theater. But at the same time, it was a lot of stress and a lot of struggle. And my daughter was like, I don't want to go into that business. That business, I want something solid. I don't want to go up and down, up and down. Now my grandson, again, he grew up in the theater. And I used to direct with him on my shoulders. He's 13 now, but his interest is in mechanics. He wants to build things. He always has wanted to build things. So I don't think either one of them are going to go into show business.
Okay, all right. Now, looking ahead down the line, what do you think will be your legacy? Have you ever thought about that?
Well, right now we're creating a village. We've bought property all across the street where we're building a performing arts center, a film and technology center, a restaurant, a cafe, housing for affordable housing for artists, so that we're creating, number one, sustainability for the theater, so that it's not totally dependent on ticket sales and fundraising, because those are very two fragile revenue stream and can change at any time. But when you have a solid revenue from different areas, such as real estate, such as businesses who are renting from you, that creates a stronger revenue stream that's outside of the theater that will allow the theater to continue to work, because we're not going to eliminate racism in my lifetime, my daughter's lifetime, or my grandson's lifetime. It's just too embedded in every aspect of this society. And we're going to have to blow things up, not metaphorically blow things up and start all over again. That's going to take many generations. So the theater has to maintain, and the village will allow for the theater to maintain, but it will also create a culture that where it serves people of all ages, all colors, all kinds, all cultures, all races, all ethnicities, so that when people enter it, when they enter into the environment, just like when you enter into this theater, you feel a certain vibrancy and love and togetherness. When you enter the Free to Be Village, you're going to feel free to be. And once that's done, then in terms of going full circle and ensuring that when Jackie Taylor enters into another sphere of living outside of this one, then this will continue. And it will have a life of its own that doesn't need me, but does need the energy and the leadership and the foundation of love that this whole journey has created.
Wow, that's deep. Beautiful. Anything else you would like to share while I got you here?
Well, I'm going to say, if folks haven't been to the Black Ensemble, what you waiting on? Come to the Black Ensemble Theater.
Tell them where it is. Tell them your.
Black Ensemble Theater is located 4450 North Clark Street. You can visit our website and learn all about us. We have great educational outreach programs. We have programs for young and old and in between. So if you haven't experienced the Black Ensemble, make us a part of your life, because you're missing something. You don't want to miss nothing.
All right now. Jackie Taylor, y'all. Thank you. Thank you.